So, you did it. You poured your heart and soul into writing a book. The story's there, the characters feel real, but now comes that final hurdle, formatting it for Kindle. And that part, it can feel super technical and just daunting. But it really doesn't have to be. So, let's dive in. We're going to demystify this whole process and turn what feels like a chore into the last exciting step before you launch your masterpiece. Okay, so here's the game plan. We're going to break it all down into 5 simple parts. We'll start with the basics, getting your manuscript formatted right. Then we'll talk about how to structure your book so it looks professional. After that, the super important stuff, designing a great cover. Then we'll walk through the actual publishing steps, and finally, what to do after you publish. This is basically your roadmap from that Word doc on your computer to a published book on Amazon. All right, Section 1, formatting your manuscript. Seriously, this is the foundation for everything. If you get these little details right now, you're going to save yourself so much headache later. It's all about making your book look polished and professional, and making sure it's a great experience for your readers, whether they're on a Kindle, a phone, or whatever. And right off the bat, let's talk about the #1 mistake people make. They think, hey, it looks good in Word, so it'll look good on Kindle. Nope. That's not how it works. Kindle uses what's called reflowable text, which is just a fancy way of saying readers can change the font size. So all that manual spacing and stuff you did, it's going to look like a total mess. That's exactly why what we're about to cover is so crucial. Okay, let's start with something super basic. Paragraphs. Sounds simple, right? But getting the indents and spacing right is key. And here's the golden rule. Please remember this. Do not use the tab key or the spacebar. Seriously, it will wreck your formatting on a Kindle. There's a proper way to do it, and it's actually really easy. So here's what you do. In Word, you're going to find the paragraph settings. It's usually under the page layout or layout tab. Pop that open and look for a drop-down menu called Special. You're going to change that to first line, and then just type in a value. Something like 0.5 inches is pretty standard. That's it. One setting, and every single one of your paragraphs will be indented perfectly on every device. And here's a look at that exact little window. This dialog box, this is your new best friend. See that special field set to first line? I'm telling you, this one little click is what separates a book that looks thrown together from one that looks super professional. It's a game changer. Okay, next tip. We've all done it, right? You get to the end of a chapter and you just hit enter, 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 enter until you're on a new page. You have to stop doing that. All those empty lines create a huge, ugly gap on some devices and no gap on others. The pro way to do it? Use a proper page break. And it's so easy to find. Just put your cursor at the very end of your chapter, go up to the Insert menu, and click Page Break. Boom, done. That one click tells every Kindle device, hey, start a new page here. It's clean, it's professional, and it just works. Okay, so our basic formatting is locked in. Now let's talk about the book's overall structure. This is where we get into things like the front matter, the title page and stuff. And the really, really important part, a clickable table of contents that actually works. You might be wondering, what exactly is front matter? It's just a fancy name for all the pages that come before Chapter 1. We're talking about your title page, your copyright page, maybe a dedication, all that good stuff. It's what makes the beginning of your book feel polished and official. Okay, let's get into what is maybe the most critical part of an ebook structure, the table of contents. You have to remember, in an ebook, page numbers are meaningless because people can change the font size. So your table of contents isn't a list of pages, it's a list of links. It's how readers navigate your book, and they absolutely expect it to be there and to work. So how do you make this magical, clickable table of contents? It's all about using Word's built-in styles. This is the secret sauce. All you have to do is go through your book, and for every chapter title, chapter 1, chapter 2, prologue, whatever, you highlight it, and you apply the heading 1 style. That's you telling Word, hey, this is a chapter title. And you can see that button right here in the Word ribbon. This heading 1 style, it's like a magic wand for your book. Every single time you apply it to a chapter title, you're planting a little flag that Word will use to build your navigation automatically. It's so simple, but so powerful. So once you've gone through and tagged all your chapters with heading 1, the hard part is over. Seriously. Now you just go to a blank page at the front of your book, go to the References tab, and tell it to insert a table of contents. Just make sure you uncheck the box for page numbers. We don't want those, and you're good to go. And this is the little pop-up window you'll see. The 2 most important things here.
Make sure Show Page Numbers is unchecked, and make sure Use Hyperlinks instead of page numbers is checked. That's it. You hit OK, and poof, Word creates a perfectly hyperlinked table of contents for you. It's pretty amazing.
Okay, now for the fun part, and maybe the most important part, your cover. Let's be real, people do judge a book by its cover. It's the first thing anyone sees, and it is your #1 marketing tool. A fantastic cover can literally sell your book for you, and a bad one, well, it can kill it before anyone even reads the description.
Now, before we get into the creative side, we gotta cover the technical stuff. These are the non-negotiables. Your file has to be a JPEG or a TIFF. It's gotta be at least 1,000 pixels on the longest side, and the ideal shape, the aspect ratio, is 1.6. Just write these down, get them right, and your cover will look sharp and professional on the Kindle store.
Okay, technical stuff aside, here's what really matters. Your title and your name have to be easy to read, even when it's a tiny little thumbnail image on Amazon. That's huge. Also, make sure the colors and the fonts match your genre. A thriller cover shouldn't look like a romance cover, you know? And before you finalize anything, ask your friends what they think. Oh, and one last very important technical point. Do not, I repeat, do not put your cover image inside your Word document. You upload it as a separate file.
All right, take a deep breath. This is it. Your manuscript is formatted, your book is structured, your cover looks amazing. We are at the finish line. This is the final process before you hit that glorious publish button. You're so close.
So here is your pre-flight checklist. 1. Do one final paranoid proofread. Find every last typo. 2. This is the big one. You're going to save your Word document as a web page filtered file. 3. If you have images, you'll need to zip up a couple of files. 4. You'll upload all that to KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, and fill out all your book's information. And 5. You'll use Amazon's preview tool to make sure it looks perfect.
Okay, I'm going to say this again because it is that important. When you go to Save As in Word, you must choose Web Page Filtered. Not just Web Page, but Web Page Filtered. What this does is it strips out all the junk code that Word puts in, leaving a super clean file that Amazon's system can convert beautifully. Seriously, do not skip this step or choose the wrong one. And click, you hit publish, you're an author, but what happens now? What if you find a typo tomorrow? Don't worry, in this last section, we'll talk about managing your book once it's live, because yes, you can still fix things.
So you published, and then you find a typo. It happens to everyone, don't panic. You can just upload a corrected version of your manuscript. Now, Amazon has 2 ways of handling this. If it's just a minor fix, people who already bought the book can choose to update it. But if you do a major revision, like adding a whole new chapter, Amazon will actually email everyone who bought it and tell them a new version is available, which is pretty cool.
And that's really it. You've navigated the entire journey from a simple document to a published book. I love how the source material puts it, just simply, congratulations, you are now published. Let that sink in for a second. That is a massive deal, and you should be incredibly proud.
So look, all those technical things that might have seemed scary, they're not barriers anymore. You now have the roadmap to get your story from your head out into the world. The path is clear. So really, there's just one question left. Your story's ready. What are you going to publish first?